Welcome to Subramani. All of us would have heard of Henry Ford, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie. These are the rich people of the early 1900s or little into the Depression era. These people were definitely very, very rich, right? Worth $1 billion in that time. But you have definitely not heard of Hetty Green, right? Hetty Green is a woman who got most of her money from her husband's whaling enterprise, but she invested it very wisely, and by the time she died in 1916, she was worth about $100 million. $100 million, a quick calculation tells you, is about equivalent to about 200 billion today. That's really huge, right? Anybody would be proud to have that kind of a portfolio. I'm just assuming that the portfolio had continued and she had got that return of say 6-7%, which she would have got in a equity fund. What are the lessons to be learned from her? Of course, she was very rich, and she got to that position because of her frugality. So I know a lot of people who get to be rich because they are frugal, and after that, so frugality is a great blessing. But afterwards, if you can't use that money for yourself, right? Hetty Green has stories about how she would not spend money on her son's leg injury, and then the leg had to be amputated. If you are so stupidly frugal, right? So frugality has to have a limit as to how frugal you want to be. Each person has his own choice of how frugal one has to be. But if you are so frugal that your son has to lose his leg because of you're delaying the treatment or going to the public hospital and not going to a private hospital, what use is money? I remember I remember my father telling me, my money has to be useful for the people I love. That's the only thing which he had. He had no great target of what IRR I should get, how much should be in equity, how much should be in debt. He said, whenever I need money to help somebody, and if they need it, I wish to help them, I should have enough money. That was his idea of how one should be liquid. So if your money is not useful for the people around you, for the people you love, I really don't know how frugality helps. But yes, Hetty Green was frugal, and in a country like US where frugality is unheard of, she's a good example. But then it should not become an obsession that I will be so frugal that I will not spend on myself also. One more lesson from Hetty Green is she invested very conservatively. Now this is very useful to if you are subject to panic attacks. So if you think you're going to have a panic attack because there is a COVID hit, or because Mr. Modi loses an election or something like that, then please invest very conservatively. She was so conservative that she could use her money to bail out city of New York once or twice or things like that. She had enough money to bail out municipalities and banks. So that's the kind of money she was sitting on, which means she was sitting on cash, which reminds you of the portfolio of Mr. Buffett in Berkshire Hathaway, sitting on a lot of cash, which is very useful during times when nobody else wants to invest. So yes, investing conservatively, you can really weather panics, and whenever everybody else is panicking and everybody else needs money, you will be able to lend at good rates and earn money, right? So the question is again whether you want to lend money or you think it's too risky. But yes, you have that option of taking advantage of such opportunities which come your way. Having a lot of money also means one more thing, that you can live life on your terms. You don't need to be employed. You don't have to tell your boss, sir, it's a pleasure meeting you. Maybe it's no pleasure. So that is one advantage of having money. There is no doubt about that. But provided you are willing to know how to spend your time, because a lot of people with a lot of money have no clue what to do with their lives. So you find 70-year-old businessmen who are in business and continue to be in business, not because they love their business, but because they have nothing else to do, and those men can't do anything at home. They are not used to doing anything at home. They have not cut vegetables. They can't make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So they can't make themselves useful in any other place other than their office. So typically what I call is pathetic asset allocation, because your biggest asset is your time. You don't know how to allocate it while at work. 12 hours you give it to work, and suddenly one day when you retire, you have no clue how to use those 12 hours. So yes, asset allocation is very important. Of your time, your most important thing is your time. So yes, you can live life on your own terms, but there is no way how you will know whether you know how to retire. That is one more thing. One more advantage I see of having money is being able to donate very quietly. Though I have two views on this. One is making an anonymous donation where nobody knows what you're doing, and the second is recognizing some thing and saying, okay, because of this I am going to help you. For example, I have a friend who was recently telling me how among all the maid servants and security guards in his society, he invited for applications, and the best 12 students shortlisted by a teacher got refurbished laptops, right? So kids need laptops today, so especially after their past class 10. So they use the class 8 mark sheet, class 8, class 9, class 10 mark sheets to shortlist 12 kids, and they gave them refurbished laptop costing maybe 30K. So that's about 3.5 lakhs. So this cannot be anonymous, right? So this has to be done by you, or saying, okay, here is a fund from which we will pay for the medical expenses for the employees of the cooperative society. Companies anyway do it, so companies don't need your charity. Company employees, whether is a low-end employee or a high-end employee, they will have some kind of a medical cover. But if you are living in a building society with say 10 buildings, so good chance there will be some 20 security guards, and there will be some gardener, mali. Our building has 17 malis, right, gardeners. So covering all of them for medical expenses, giving them used laptops. I'm sure I can procure 50 laptops in our own society, saying this is going to charity. So people will give up their old laptops, use it as an excuse. I would be happy to give away my old laptop and forcing me to buy a new one. So some of these things you can do some charity like that very quietly, sometimes very obviously, because sometimes you want to do it quietly. I mean, if there are floods in some place, right, and they're collecting money, it's going to be an anonymous donation. But helping your maidservants' children going through school, college, that is not anonymous, and it's okay to be anonymous. All your donations need not be anonymous. So doing some of these things, so money helps. So yeah, these are some of the lessons from Getty. And I think frugality should not be taken to an extreme, and yeah, some of these things. Thank you.